Welcome, everybody. I just want to say my name is Anissa Mazuka, and I am the Director of Operations with the Michigan Works Association. And on behalf of the staff at the association and all of our sponsors, we thank you for being a part of this conference and this session titled Mobile Solutions for Workforce Development in the Age of COVID-19. We want to say a big shout out and thanks to CVS Pharmacy and Health for sponsoring today's workshop session. Our sponsors help make this conference happen, and we are very thankful for your support. Along with our sponsors, our exhibitors who have also given their time to be part of this event, be sure to visit our exhibit booth during the designated exhibit hall times. We are asking that if you have any Q&A, any questions, to go ahead and put it in the chat, and Tekisha will get to that after her presentation. Welcome, Tekisha. She is the CEO with DiverseNote, and I will go ahead and turn it over to you, and I will just watch for questions, and I'll put some stuff in the chat. We ask that you fill in a survey after your sessions as well. Thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you, Anissa, so much for the welcome and the introduction. Good morning, everyone. I am so happy to be here this morning at the 2020 Michigan Works Annual Conference, and really ecstatic that you all are here to join us for our session as well. The title of our session is Mobile Solutions for Workforce Development in the Age of COVID-19. I have some slides that I'm going to share, and as Anissa said, please place your questions in chat. It looks like when I share my full screen and look at the full screen view, I may not be able to see the chat, so I will go to answer questions at the end of the PowerPoint slides, and we will kind of go from there. All right, so let me go back to these slides just a moment. Okay. So again, welcome to our presentation. So as Anissa said, my name is Tekisha Lee. I am the founder and the CEO of two organizations. First, DiverseNote, which is a career management online platform. And then I'm also the Chief Education Officer for DiverseNote Mobility, which is an accelerated career training program. We provide STEM-related, IT-related training online, where our students have two paths to career and economic mobility. And then also I am a board member of Cisco's Networking Academy and have 21 years of experience in leadership experience in workforce development, education, as well as technology. So just to give you a little bit of my background. So let's interact together. I want our session to be really interactive. I may ask a few questions, and I'm not sure if I ask questions if you guys can unmute yourselves or not. From the general session that we had this morning, it didn't look like that was an option. So I may ask a few questions, and then if you guys have answers, you can place them in chat, and then we'll review those as we go along as well. But as you can see on this particular slide on your screen now, that there will be some polls taken throughout the session. If you have questions, please post those in chat. And you can find more information about DiverseNote and the work that we do in chat as well toward the end of the session. Another tip that I want to highlight, just in case you all may not be sure or aware of it, if you have the PowerPoint slides on your screen now, if just in regular or minimized size, if you double click on that, on your screen where the slide is posted, it should bring you to a larger screen view of the PowerPoint slides if you need to see them in a larger view. So the purpose of the session is to introduce mobile solutions for meeting administrative goals and increasing client outcomes, as well as self-advocacy, as well as to provide data regarding workforce development industry clients. So we're going to go over lots of data, review some solutions for workforce development, and then there's also some outcomes that all of you as attendees of the session will walk away from the session with. And there's 4 of them, which is our goal today. So that first one is understanding possible reactions and challenges of an unplanned environment. And absolutely, The coronavirus pandemic, COVID-19, is absolutely an unplanned environment. We did not know or expect that this would be happening in the way that it is as well. The second outcome of the session is to understand data of workforce clients in the age of COVID-19. And those clients would be, your clients that you work with day to day through your workforce development organizations or your higher education institutions. Those could range from individuals who are underemployed to unemployed to students. Our third outcome goal is for you to have the ability to create some self-implemented mobile solutions, and then also to identify, our fourth goal, to identify whole mobile solutions to engage and track client progress. So reactions of an unplanned environment. So as I mentioned a few moments ago, of course, COVID-19 is an unplanned environment, and it changed our world absolutely in the way that we work, in the way that we interact with each other, and in the way that we, get overall things done, reach our goals and manage our families as well as our work. And so because of this unplanned environment, in times like this, it can cause us to, think outside of the box, and, think about the time we spend on our devices, our mobile devices, our laptops, our tablets, our cell phones, and causes us to think outside of the box to use or implement solutions that will kind of be multi-purpose solutions, and that will help us work easier, as well as manage our lives easier, as we have so many things to manage at the same time, from working from home to teaching school for our family, our children at home, and all of those things at the same time. That's the purpose of, mobile and virtual solutions, is to make our lives a bit more simplified. And we certainly, in this time, have many options to work with, which is really exciting. So some mobile solutions that can help us in an unplanned environment include virtual meetings versus in person, like we have, right now in our online, our mobile 2020 conference. Traditionally we would have met in person for our conference to learn about new workforce solutions, learn about the new state guidelines and innovations that are with us for 2020 and beyond. But now we're meeting virtually online and doing that just as successfully as we would have previously, and also networking just as successfully, hopefully, as we would have previously. And then another solution for another idea for mobile solutions, is client management versus online client management versus in person, which is a really large, I'd say probably for most of us, over 90% of a task and out of the box thinking and innovation that we have to implement in order to do our work successfully, being that traditionally our work in workforce development, the industry of workforce development, has heavily been, in person, working with clients, meeting with clients, helping clients set goals, reporting, collecting data and reporting on state guidelines and things like that has traditionally been done in person. And now we have to move to a virtual environment to do that, which is pretty exciting, that there's tools in place and solutions in place where this can be done. So we just reviewed the reactions of an unplanned environment, in this case being COVID-19, and what we do, how we've, solved or improvised virtually versus in person. And so some of the challenges to an unplanned environment we'll review right now. So some of those include, barriers to digital literacy. We have lots of, in workforce development, we have lots of clients that we work with that, range in their capacity or understanding of digital literacy. So some may be, experienced or experts at digital literacy, using cell phones, using web applications and so on. And some may not be so digitally literate. So that could be, that's an example of a challenge. In addition to that, the inequality gap increases because of the unfamiliarity of, using mobile solutions for the majority of our day-to-day tasks. That increases the inequality gap. Lots of us are required or have access to work from home. And as many of our clients, many of our students are have these jobs that may not allow them to work from home, that inequality gap increases because those in-person, jobs and careers are not as in high demand as our work from home jobs are. And we'll talk about that, the data of that more in a few moments. Another challenge to an unplanned environment is lack of compliance due to the COVID-19 environment. As I mentioned, we have in workforce development, we have state and federal requirements that we have to meet in reference to working with our clients, collecting data, reporting that data, real data in real time. And so how do we collect that data? How do we get that input and that insight in that we are not able to meet in person as we would traditionally, or that we have to collect it through some mobile solution, or if it's through our phones, or if it's through a reporting spreadsheet. That could be another barrier, that lack of compliance because of the COVID-19 environment. And then also sometimes we have a lack of adoption from leadership. Sometimes when there's, in this case, we had to shift pretty quickly into a mobile environment. And sometimes if there are solutions that are not known well, or that we're not accustomed to for our traditional way of doing work, our day-to-day way of doing work, sometimes there can be a lack of adoption from our leadership, or slow adoption sometimes from our leadership in adapting or adopting these mobile solutions. So all of these things we're going to kind of talk about and address. And now we're going to go a bit more into that data background in reference to the challenges that our clients are facing. So we have 3 slides here that share quite a bit of data in reference to workforce development industry, the clients that we work with on a day-to-day basis. And this first slide covers the percentage of workers with paid leave or the ability to work from home. And as I mentioned, as the wage decreases, the level of wage decreases, and the level of highest level of education is decreased, then those opportunities to work from home decrease as well. And so as you can see on this slide, which was taken from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics American Time Use Survey, you can see here in reference to what job status in reference to part-time and full-time workers have the ability to work from home and have access to paid leave. So as you can see here, in reference to part-time workers, only 23% of part-time workers have access to paid leave, and only 13.7, or we could say 14% of part-time workers have the ability or access to work from home, which is a very low number. And then for full-time workers, 77% have access to paid leave, and 32.6 or 33% have access and the ability to work from home. So that's still a lower number when you consider the overall bigger picture of our COVID-19 pandemic and the ability to work from home, the requirement to teach our children at home if you have children that are in school, and how that can fare within the workforce and bring barriers to equality and access to work. And then in reference to age, here on this particular slide, we see the percentage in reference to age groups of paid leave versus, or access to paid leave versus, as well as access to the ability to work from home. And we see that as you get the younger generation, the youth, as well as the out-of-school youth population that's 15 to 24 years old, 6.7% of them have the ability to work from home. Of course, many of the jobs that this particular age group there's no ability or there's no need for them to work from home from those employers. And then the biggest category in reference to age with the ability to work from home are those that are between the ages of 35 to 44 years old. That's 36.2% of individuals that have the access and ability to work from home. They are also one of the larger groups, 35 to 44 years of age, that have access to paid leave. So if you look at this slide, you can see in the paid leave section, which is in orange, there's greater access to, paid leave across the board versus the access to work from home. And in our age of COVID-19 that we are in currently, that work from home need and sometimes requirement for those higher wage jobs, those higher skilled jobs, you could see that represented here, that many of the clients and students that we work with don't have the access to work from home. And so there's a lot of work that we have to do on the back end to provide solutions to implement, to be familiar with, and to provide mobile solutions so that that the clients that we work with have access to the tools that they need for career and economic mobility in order to get them to the point where they are highly skilled, as well as can qualify for those high skilled jobs and the ability to work from home. And just this morning in our general session, it was really great to hear and learn more about the frontline job training or higher education training, as well as the Restart program that gives access to those things. Many of the workers that are represented in this particular graph or this particular data represents those frontline workers that do not have access to work from home. Our next slide, data slide, covers the most economically vulnerable groups by age. As you can see here, the biggest economically vulnerable group is between the ages of 25 to 34. And young workers are less likely to have access to paid leave or the ability to work from home. Also, job status. So the more economically vulnerable work in part-time, positions in multiple jobs, multiple part-time jobs, and those who are less economically vulnerable have those full-time jobs and that have access to work from home, and that's at 80.4%. I want to take a moment here. I want to exit out of this full screen, and then I'm going to just to see if I can see chat, if there's any questions. And I want to know if you guys can still see, tell me in chat, please, if you can still see my slides as I have exited out of the full screen view. So can you see my slides still? Okay, perfect, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to keep it like this because I want to be able to see the chat as well and answer questions if you have them. I feel like I can miss some really great questions if I'm not able to see them. And so there was a question about the data that we're sharing. This is national. The data that is being shared for this particular presentation is national data from the U.S. Census Bureau and the American Time Use Survey. And then there's another question here. Is this information data representative of the nation or state? Oh, sorry. So that's the same question. It's national. So we have one more data slide to share, which I'm going to go back to. So our next slide in reference to data is economically, or where do economically vulnerable employees work according to industry. And so according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, and this is a little bit of a different survey, it's the current population survey. So this data was taken by occupation industry back in 2019. And it represents where economically vulnerable employees work according to industry. And as we know, within the industry that we work in, this is data that is really relevant to us and that we are pretty much aware of now. So the majority of the clients, individuals, and students that we work work within the service industry. And nationally, that's at 31% for part-time. And then full-time, that's at 22% within the service industry. The next industry that is popular for those who are economically vulnerable are sales and related industries. So in sales, that face-to-face sales related career or job, and then office and administrative support. That's that kind of person that you see when you go into the office, or the administrative roles in office support at 19% part-time, and then 14% full-time. And then it goes down from there: transportation, as well as professional and related. And so professional meaning that could be those professional positions at a part-time level, and then 7.5% of them at full-time. So the top industries where the economically vulnerable employees are that work in, the most popular are service, sales, office, or administrative, as well as transportation and professional related. Now, this session is about mobile solutions and how we can implement those to adapt to make our work within workforce development easier, to meet the needs of our clients in an ever moving, ever changing and scaling time as we are in now. And so I'm going to share with you a few things about mobile solutions, and then as well as my definition before we get into it too heavily. But mobile solutions, there are some self-implemented solutions, as well as some that are, scalable and created for, I call them a whole workforce mobile solutions. But some of them can be self-implemented, and these are things that you can do today to provide mobile solutions within the work that you do today. You may be doing some of these now currently. They have some pros and some cons, but they will certainly assist you in the work that you do, make it a little bit more streamlined and easier to manage, as well as assist your clients. And so some of those include the use of in-office systems that may not currently address or be a whole environment for mobile solutions. So those are kind of solutions that you all worked with pre-COVID-19 within your organization. Sometimes those can include a state data system that may not have had the adaptations to a COVID-19 environment, but those still could work, just with some improvising to make that work, to collect that data and provide the services that we need to provide to the clients that we work with on a daily basis. One-on-one interaction, data management, tracking, and reporting. So this is something that is extremely important to the success of workforce development, as we all know. And some of those solutions are, phone calls to clients, which I'm quite sure that you do every, on a daily, if a weekly, if not daily basis. Make those phone calls to clients, have those, video meetings via Zoom or Google Meet and so on, as well as with our colleagues in work to interact and collaborate with each other and to check to see how our clients are doing. Also use docs or spreadsheets to track client progress, etc. So quite sure that that some of you may be doing some of these things now. And these are certainly self-implemented mobile solutions that you can do today to kind of help streamline the way that you work, to manage your client load. And some of the pros of that is that these are fast solutions, and also that they offer client follow-up in an immediate need. So, we've been in the middle of our COVID-19 working situation for several months now. And so these provide meet that immediate need. I'm sure that you addressed these right away when we first started working from home several months back, and that you implement these today. Some of the cons of these self-implemented solutions is that they are temporary. You may not want to work with docs or spreadsheets for a long-term basis. It takes a lot of time and, time management and client management, data management. That takes up a lot of time, so they could be considered temporary. They're not scalable because of that time management and self-data management that you have to implement. And they can be difficult to track and report on when we get back to a more traditional way of working in person. I want to share my definition of what a successful mobile solution is. And before I do that, I'm going to check back in with questions to see if there are any. I don't see. Oh, there are some questions. Another question, can you maximize the PowerPoint for visibility? Yes, you can. So if you want to maximize the PowerPoint for visibility, click twice on the PowerPoint slides that you see on your screen. If you click on those twice, that will maximize the actual PowerPoint video. If you click on the screen twice, you'll maximize your screen. Another question is in reference to starting with the slides. So maybe I'm going to go back to the full screen view so you guys can see the full screen slides, because it looks like some are having some trouble with viewing the slides as I have it posted here. So while I do that, I'm going to share a definition of what a successful mobile solution is. And I saw a note in chat that please know that these slides will be available through this conference online system. The slides will be available for you to view later as well. So, and also toward the end of this presentation, I'm going to share my contact information, my email. So if you have any questions or you would like to see these slides or have any more questions, I'd be happy to discuss with you in more detail also. So what is a successful mobile solution? A definition of that, and I like this definition because it speaks to the scalability, but it's a highly scalable, affordable, and flexible mobile management and reporting suite of SaaS, which is software as a service tools, that addresses needs in an environment where mobility is necessary. I'm going to read that one more time. So a mobile solution is a highly scalable, affordable, and flexible mobile management and reporting suite that's online and that addresses needs in an environment where mobility is necessary. And so we know that mobility is necessary because we are working from home. We have clients all over the cities and counties in which we work that may have barriers to transportation, that may have health barriers. Our offices may be closed and so on. And so we know now that mobility is absolutely necessary in a COVID-19, pandemic and work situation as we are in now. And so our next slide covers benefits of a scalable and whole mobile solution. So benefits of mobile solutions include self-advocacy for our clients. So it is a really great time now to encourage our clients to be their own self-advocates, to really communicate what they need, what their barriers are, as those, have changed quickly in our current situation and economic standing in reference to COVID-19. So it's really important to encourage our clients to be self-advocates and to speak to and communicate their needs and request the assistance that they need. And so a successful and scalable mobile solution will provide a medium for you to do that and for clients to self-advocate. Secondly, to track economic mobility of clients' current and future status. So we won't always be in the middle of this current pandemic. In our general session, it was mentioned that at the peak of the pandemic, our state's unemployment rate was at 24%. That's gone down quite a bit, but we still have a high employment rate within our communities. And as we move from post COVID-19 within the next year or so, the economic mobility and career mobility of our clients will change. The workforce will change. And so we need to be able to track the career and economic mobility of our clients now, as well as long-term or in the future. And a scalable and successful mobile solution will be able to do that in a way that's automated. And then long-term management in the same way. So an example of long-term management is, we can track in a successful or scalable mobile solution how our clients are doing currently. We can find out what their highest level of income or education, highest level of education is from the data that we collected pre-COVID-19. We know what their median income was and currently is based off of all of the data that has been collected. But how will those clients transition? What goals need to be set? What actions need to be in place to reach those goals and to make that career mobility scalable for a client? And that's what's meant by this long-term management. And so when clients, leave our workforce development offices and then come back, at a later date, and that happens quite often within workforce development, we're able to track long-term, and I mean, long-term as in beyond the 1 year requirement that we have, but 5 years, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years out, what that particular client has done to get to where they are now, if that has been positive, or if it has caused other barriers, what has been their life, their household situation and outcomes to cause this, that particular change, if any. That long-term management within a scalable solution will give you access to that data, and you can create more robust and more succinct plans, workforce plans for clients with that data available to you through a mobile solution. And then also a scalable mobile solution should be filled with national industry data. So we have our state data, and there have been really great questions in chat asking if the data that we reviewed a few moments ago was state or national, and that was national data. And in a scalable mobile solution, both should be available within the solution. So of course we want to know and need to know what the data is according to our state of Michigan, but also what is happening nationally. And so that we can learn how we can plan better, how we can be more competitive or efficient in servicing our clients with getting them to successful economic mobility. So knowing where we are statewide, where we are in reference to county versus state versus a specific state or the national level, that should be available in a scalable mobile solution. And then in addition to that, be able to meet, the mobile solution should be able to meet both state and leadership metric requirements. So within our state, we have all of these requirements within the state system that we're required to track. And then we have federal requirements that we are required to track. And sometimes we may be required to track that information through multiple systems. So this scalable mobile solution would be best served if it has a more robust tracking and reporting system that meets the needs of state and federal requirements. That will also save you some time in reference to reporting, data management, and coming up with innovative ideas and programs, innovations within workforce development, statewide. And then that it's scalable. So this whole slide I've been talking about, and we've been sharing about scalable mobile solutions. So it should allow you to start with a small group if that's what you decide to do. It could be, you can start with a specific client segment. It could be, you should be able to start with as little as, 5 clients all the way to your full client scale. And so it should give you that flexibility to do that and be scalable. So those are some benefits of a scalable mobile solution. I want to go back to check our chat. And I also have a question for you all that I'd like for you to answer in chat as well. So my question for you is in reference to mobile solutions. So can you share in chat what you all have done to manage, your client base and to assist your clients in workforce development in this age of COVID-19? What are some of the examples that you've done, that you've used, that you've implemented? If you can put some of that in chat, that'd be great for us to learn and share. If some of these are self-implemented, that's awesome, because those are some really great immediate solutions that we could do today, which is awesome. And I see here in chat, it says, Amanda says that they are using Brazen as a virtual job fair platform, which is awesome. That is a really great mobile solution to give you the ability to bring all of your clients as well as your employer partners together to interact and fill those unemployment gaps. Alicia is sharing that they're using marketing via social media, Zoom meetings, excuse me, Ty has shared. So those are all great self-implemented mobile solutions that'll get you interacting with their clients, which is really important and a positive thing to do. So it looks like Zoom and Brazen are pretty popular. And then I see also Robert has shared that they have created a document, an electronic document options for that, opposed to paper options when necessary for clients. And that's really awesome, that moving from a paper hard copy requirement for turning in forms and so on to a digital way for clients to provide and share that information that's required. That is really important. It makes adaptation to this, in current environment easier for our clients. Because as we know, we have lots of barriers. I see a question in here about Loom. What is Loom? That's a really great question. Loom is a recorded video, session. And I'll share more about that in a moment. So I see text messaging, that's awesome. Vonage, to be more scalable and accessible to clients. YouTube orientation videos, that's an awesome one. That's a really good scalable mobile solution. So you guys have a YouTube channel and you have your orientation videos there. That is really great. So thank you all so much for sharing DocuSign for electronic signatures. That's also very important, because our clients now want to be able to have the ability to not have to go into an office. They may have to deal with childcare or, teaching children from home, or, having to work from home or going to work. Being able to turn in those documents via electronic mode is really important and imperative. And that's an awesome mobile solution. So great. Thank you guys for sharing that. A few more slides that we have to share, and then I'm going to end and stop to answer some questions. We have a Q&A session at the end. So I'm going back to our full screen mode here. Thank you so much for sharing in chat. Now there's a case study. Also, that was one of our points in the beginning, which I said that we would review and cover. So as I mentioned at the beginning of our presentation, that DiverseNote is a career management portal. It's an online career management portal. And so I wanted to share with you a case study from one of our clients within Michigan. This is United Way of Southeast Michigan that we work with, and the challenge that they had in this COVID-19 pandemic and the response and reference to implementing a scalable mobile solution in DiverseNote. So the challenge for United Way is they needed to ideate and pilot an effort that allowed clients to self-report success in areas of income and financial well-being. And so the response to that was that United Way implemented the DiverseNote Career Management Platform, which is an online platform that engages clients. It encouraged clients to self-advocate for their needs and their current economic outcomes, as well as to plan for the future. And it provided the United Way staff with a data interface that provided critical information, and most importantly, it allowed them to see the progression or the progress of their clients' financial goals. So this is just a small example, a small case study for the sake of time, in reference to how a large workforce development client, implements a mobile solution. And so this slide shares a bit more about that. There's a note here from United Way that shares, what their thought was in reference to tracking. And so I'm going to read that. As I mentioned, these slides will be available to you within the conference platform here. But it says, this is from United Way, and it says, at United Way for Southeast Michigan, we have been working with DiverseNote using their data management capabilities to assure that workforce development clients achieve economic prosperity. The DiverseNote team is thoughtful, innovative, and responsive, and we will recommend their services. It says it's been interesting in enhancing their individual data tracking capacity. So this is just a little snippet and share of the outcome of this particular case study from United Way, what their challenge was, as well as their response, and how they use a mobile solution to track to increase self-advocacy for their clients and to track that data long term. So that's our last slide. Well, not our last. This is our last slide in reference to presentation, data sharing, and so on. So this is the time for our Q&A. As we have a few more minutes left within our session here. We end at 11:15, so we have about a good 15 minutes left to answer some questions. I have a next step slide, which I'll go over after questions are done, but I'll have it up here so you guys can see that. So some questions. Let's see what questions you guys have. Someone asked if I could go back to the last slide. Sure, absolutely. I'd be happy to. I'm not sure which slide in particular, so I'm assuming, do you mean this slide, the case study slide, or the first case study slide, or the second? I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to just put it here, just in case this is the one you meant. I'll leave it here for a few minutes, and you can tell me if that, so yes, this is it. Okay, great, Sean. So I'll leave this slide up for a few more moments. But any questions that you guys have about mobile solutions, anything you want to share with our group and team about your solution that you've implemented that has worked for you successfully? I see a question here that did the data represent the national or state data? So the data represented from those 3 data sites, that was national data. Another questions, are there ideas to manage assessments when clients can't come into the office? Absolutely. So some ideas to manage assessments, I have 2. One is self-implemented, and one is using a scalable mobile solution for that. So try using a survey, an online survey solution that you can, self-implement right now. So you can move your assessments to survey form and provide a link to that assessment, or invite your clients to participate in those assessments via email. And some examples of those surveys could be, there's a Google Docs. They have a survey there, or survey medium that you can use to transition your assessments into survey form. There's also a Survey Monkey. Those are some examples. So you can transition those from, either hard copy or in-person assessments to those online survey related assessments. Another great thing about online surveys is that they, calculate data and communicate that data for you, so you don't have to do that manually. So Lori, that would be a suggested solution for assessments for self-implemented mobile solutions for assessments. Also, using a scalable solution for that as well, that includes assessments, would be another solution. Another question we have is with regards to analytics. It says, what are you using for best practices to track data? Yeah, so some best practices to track data is what we use at DiverseNote. So DiverseNote is a national career management and economic mobility tool. And so we track the career mobility of clients, workforce development clients, and students based off of career, income, and education. And so the way that it works is they set, clients are able to self-advocate and set goals based off of those three particular categories, and then set actions according to those goals. From that content, state and national best practices in reference to meeting specific goals based off of career, education, and income is shared with the client, and they're able to set actions, self-advocate the actions they want to set to meet that goal. And then you, Amanda, or who asked this question, as a manager of that client, can work with that client through the mobile system to track how they're doing to access that data, and also to recommend different actions and different goals. How are we defining scalable? We're defining scalable as a way where you can start, where you can grow and implement a mobile solution, grow the implementation of a mobile solution. So starting from a small client base and growing to your entire client base. Also, scalable, we talked about some self-implemented solutions that you can work with that may require more time. And those scalable ones will require less time in reference to self-data management and so on. There is a note, or excuse me, a question here also about, oh, the question moved on me. Oh, that question was about the data that we shared as well. So I want to, since we are coming to a close of our session, if you guys have more questions, please post them in the chat. I'm going to post share a slide and post a couple of links for you in chat as well in reference to some next steps if you want to learn more. So a few questions or a few requests. If you had received some great information from our session, if you learned about some mobile solutions that you can self-implement or that's scalable, and if you thought this was a great session to attend, please visit us on our the DiverseNote Facebook page. There is a link to it. There will be a link to it in the chat. And to learn more about the work that we do and like our page there. Also, if you want to receive a copy of our business case one sheet in reference to scalable mobile solutions, we've created a one sheet for you to review to lay out more information about a scalable mobile solution. Please put your email address in chat or send me an email. My email is listed here in this slide. And we will be happy to send you that one sheet. And then also more information, if you're interested in learning more about the DiverseNote Career Management Tool, our website is listed here. It's DiverseNote.app, or you can use your phone. Another great solution for mobility, as we discussed. And if you text level up to 31996, as you see here on the slide, it'll take you straight to our website. And then if you want to learn more about the DiverseNote Accelerated Career Training Academy, which provides affordable access to affordable higher education and credentials from a career path, as well as access to higher education in reference to scholarships. We have partnerships with over 30 colleges and universities across the country that offer our students 50% plus scholarships on tuition and fees for any degree that they choose. That's from associates all the way to a PhD, which is pretty awesome, which makes higher education more affordable. And as mentioned in our general session, education and income correlate directly with each other. So that is also important. So what I'm going to post here, I mentioned I'd post our Facebook page link here as well. I'm going to do that. This slide shares my contact information. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And then I see emails here. I'm going to send all of you the business case one sheet for a scalable mobile solution. And I'm available for questions throughout the conference. I'm here throughout the duration of the conference. You guys have been so awesome and amazing to work with this morning and to hear from this morning. Thank you so much for attending the Mobile Solutions for Workforce Development in the Age of COVID-19 session. And I am here for any additional questions that you may have, so please post them here. I see Anissa has come up, so please keep your email coming in, and we'll be happy to send you that one sheet and answer any questions that you all may have. And yes, I see a question here about the PowerPoint. Can we have that PowerPoint? So yes, it will be shared. Anissa is going to let us know now exactly how we can access that when she comes back on to share that information with us. Anissa?
Thank you so much, Tekisha, for presenting today. We really appreciate it. And thank you again for everyone's time for joining us today. If you send me the PowerPoint, Tekisha, we're going to post those on the website. And if you want to send me that one-page document that you were talking about sending out to them, we should be able to post that as well. We also posted in there a link to our survey, so we can get feedback there and share that with you at a later date as well. Get that following this is our exhibitor and networking, so people can go and on the left side of your screen to join that. And again, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us today. And thank you again, Tekisha. Have a great rest of your conference, everyone.
Absolutely. Have a great conference, everyone.